102.1 Pirate Radio with Captain Bruce.
More music.
You got it. You know, there are so many talented people in the world all around us, and so many times we'll never know it. Well, somewhere between frozen drinks and shots, the other night at Duffy's, I ran into Dan Iddings visiting from St. Helens, Oregon, who mentioned that he, along with his bass player, Jamie Lyle, had recorded a few songs in the past, but now are just playing on Sunday afternoons in the Great Northwest. So I got him to send me a few of his songs, and they are really good. Now you can find them by looking up Carolina Steel on Amazon or Spotify. This is Alvin, Texas, on Pirate Radio.
SUV. Walked back from the cashier, opened up the door to see a blue net in a halter top in the driver's seat. She said, I've seen your face before, boy, in the news and on TV. Yeah, they're waiting at the border for you, and they say you got no way to get through, but now you do. I listened to a song about a married rich man who'd done his mistress wrong. We checked into a motel just on the edge of town, where we planned to wait till sunrise and then take her lover down. As the world melted down to just two, she said, if you ain't got a girl who's into you, now you do. Said, baby, it's you know who, and honey, you don't have a clue, but now you do. Souls to lose. Ditched the rig at Corpus Christi, hopped a boat to Veracruz. Bought a hacienda sitting on a sunny beach, where the birds can watch us making love just slightly out of reach. Here we spend our days enjoying the view, and if you don't know that dreams can come true, now you do.
I guess we're recording. Let's see.
Yep, we are recording. We've been recording. So I have said that our first album, Carolina Steel, first and only, was 40 years in the making because in 1976, 77, I think that's when we first hooked up. That seems like a long time ago. I was 11 years old when we moved out to Rose Valley, Fish Pond Road. We were sort of neighbors, as neighborly as you get in Rose Valley.
Quarter to a half a mile away.
Yeah, there we were next door neighbors.
Pretty much.
Found out later that we were related by marriage. Your dad and my dad shared the same stepmom. Is that true?
I'm going to take your word on that. My family's.
I think like most people in Rose Valley, we were somewhat related through.
I know my your grandma. I know that.
Yes, there was some hillbilly kind of connection there. And so you grew up in middle school playing trumpet, correct?
Yep.
And then you found out you couldn't get any chicks through playing the trumpet.
Well, it was more of buck teeth and braces and being first chair that killed it.
So you were talented and that was your problem.
And then mom brought home a 3/4 scale Sears bass guitar and a 5-watt amp off the employee table. It was returned by somebody. And I got plinking around with that and decided I didn't have to bleed through my face to play it, and I could learn music songs. So that was a bonus too.
But many bass players do bleed through the face while they are playing. I mean, the good ones.
Yeah, I'm still practicing that.
So your mom had bought you a trumpet. What did that set her back?
Plenty. It was a Yamaha silver dual slide, dual trigger trumpet, because I was in advanced band in 7th grade, and they thought it was a good thing to do. And then they brought the bass home, and I decided after about 4 months, I don't want to play trumpet anymore.
Stupid parents.
So Dad had said, we can take it back. We're going to take a little loss on it. We'll get you a bass. But by God, you better stick with it, is exactly what he told me.
And then 20 years later, you're a penniless musician because you did stick with it. And the rest is history. Our connection is a little bit hazy, but we'll work our way through it. So we've gone from middle school. Here's the one thing I remember about, well, there's several things, and we'll get to the song, but just kind of a history between you and I. So you had the Sears bass amp and
Watts of Theory.
yes, absolutely. That's what I call my sex life. And we started practicing in my bedroom, and my dad soon put the kibosh on that and banished us to the barn. This must have been like 7th or 8th grade.
Yep.
Then you really got serious about it, and your parents bought you the PV bass, if I remember, or at least a PV amplifier.
It was a PVT-40 bass and a 215 cabinet with a Centurion head that was 130 watts.
Ooh, you were team PV all the way.
All the way.
Fast forward to me being a junior in high school, and I think that would make you a sophomore, and you were playing in a band with Ron Lado.
Yeah, Ron Lado and Eric
Montgomery, yep. And what was that band's name?
The band was called Fusion.
Fusion, yes. That probably one of the several million bands at that time named Fusion.
Yeah, we played hard rock and top 40 covers.
Yes, as a sophomore in high school, which was pretty cool. And so you guys were playing Cowweeman at that time, junior high school's Letterman's dance.
Yeah.
I was running the lights, and I don't know how I weaseled my way into that gig, but the lights were 4 light switches on the wall, no colors, just lights on the stage, and I would flick them up and down to the beats, and that was the light show. That was Fusion's light show.
That was pretty much it.
That was some highly technical.
Yeah, later on, we actually got colored lights, but still 4 light switches, but at least they were separate. You could put them on a table because we played, I think it was a sophomore dance, if I remember right, at Kelso High School. And then we had lights.
And so the evolution began.
So it began.
From some guy flicking light switches off and on, So there we go. So fast forward, after high school, moved to Seattle. What was your history of playing after high school? You were making like $100 a night in high school.
Yeah, then I dropped to 50 a night playing for a living.
You didn't know those were the good times.
So I took off with Lynn Axtell and Kim Lamb, I think, was our first drummer when we started playing on the road. And then played for a number of years. I mean, that's all I did is play for a living. And there we have it. Traveled around in I think it was a 72 international school bus. And from, one Mecca like La Grande to Baker, Oregon to Coos Bay to,
You guys are famous.
All the big towns.
So fast forward 40 or 30 years probably from that point, you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, and I don't know how we hooked up, but somehow I had told you I play music or originals. I think you had posted some of your originals.
Could be, but I'd already known of you playing with Crazy Ivan for a bit too.
Right. And so you were like, hey, come on out to my studio and let's get together. And so we did. I liked what you were doing and you liked what I was doing, and we just kind of meshed.
There it is. Yeah,
so go ahead.
I can sing. I'm an okay backup bar singer, but for recording, I don't have that kind of voice, but you do.
Right.
There was my draw. And I suck at lyrics. I mean, you heard them.
You're great at song titles, though.
Yeah. What am I going to call this? I don't know. I'll just name it something because I got to save a file.
Let's close my eyes and point to a map and come up with a song called Alvin, Texas.
Yeah. But Alvin, Texas is a little bit different. That was almost planned, believe it or not.
And it's a wonder you don't live in Alvin, Texas. Didn't you say you were going to run away to Alvin, Texas at one point?
Yeah, we're getting there. If I'm ever divorced or alone for whatever reason, that's the first place I'm heading.
I would suggest against it, actually, but
everybody find me there for sure.
Our song is the best thing that probably ever happened to Alvin, Texas. So
I sent it to the council. Haven't heard anything back yet.
You came up with the guitar riff, the da 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 ba da bum bum ba da bum. That's on the Telecaster.
Yeah, that's where it all started because I got a Telecaster and was trying to learn how to play guitar correctly. I don't have it in me, so I started curling my hand up and doing bass rhythms off of it using a 3-note chord, and that's what came out of it.
Right, and I enjoyed it. You gave me the recording. You recorded that as a full song with no lyrics, just the title, Alvin, Texas. And I asked you why Alvin, Texas, and I think you said it has to be named something.
That's right.
I have to put it into my computer file as something. And so I took up the challenge. I really loved the music of it and the guitar work. And I said, I'm going to take up the challenge and I'm going to write this song as if you had planned on writing it about something that happened in Alvin, Texas.
Right.
And that's the only thing I had lyrically. I had nothing. I had Alvin, Texas. And I kept listening to it again and again and again. And I came up with one line. This was all I could come up with after probably listening to it for 20 times. And I loved the music that much where I was just like, I need to write some lyrics for this music. And the only thing I could come up with is right at the point is, now you do, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Now you do, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. But I figured it probably needed more than that.
A little.
Yes. So, I mean, I was ready to go with that. I was ready to bring that in back to you and go, this is it. It's now, it's three words. So that's.
Changes the whole next tune.
The challenge for me was now you do what? now you do what? This is how my brain works. Okay. So now you do. If you hadn't, and I thought, well, if you hadn't heard of me before, now you do. Well, that doesn't make sense. And I just started playing that word game of now you do. And I came up with this story that's not true. Although I tell people it is. I tell people this has actually happened to me in Alvin, Texas. And people seem to believe it. So
Up until now, they have no idea.
no, nobody, no, now they do.
Now they do.
So I came up with a story, kind of a take the money and run Steve Miller kind of song, where there's no extradition from Mexico, apparently, because you can rob a bank and just cross the line and you live happily ever after. I think that's how life goes. But finally we came up with something, and you know how we do in the studio, we need to make a complete video of this where you record something and it's basically crap. It's basically like, well, it's something. Now let's polish this turd.
We have 17 hours of just that, right?
Yes, a lot of turd polishing goes on in the studio at Devil Dog Studios. So, and I know it's frustrating for you as kind of the producer, engineer, where I will come up with some lyrics and I say, these aren't final. These are just fillers. These are just, and sometimes you and I both will be singing along, go, ba-doo-doo, ba-ba-da, God, hey, ba-ba-doo, we'll figure it out later.
Wow.
It's creating, we're creating. And so the story just grew. The music was there. The music was great. The song musically was like just on point. You had done a great job of that.
Thank you.
But the lyrics were just a work in progress. Then we brought David Jungwirth into the picture from Crazy Ivan, from the band that I had been playing in, to put the keyboard part down, which I thought just added a ton of feeling and energy to it. David is no longer with us, but he was amazing at what he did. He was a great live player, keyboard wise, great studio guy. So we took the song, we finally got it done, finished, and I wasn't happy with a lot of the guitar work on a lot of the songs we'd done. I took 10 songs to Nashville to Martina McBride's Blackbird studio. Had Kenny Greenberg, who played with Kenny Chesney, the premier studio guitar player in Nashville, had him sit down and go, I was like, I'm not happy with these guitar parts. Please professionalize, Nashville them, whatever. Do what you do. Do that magical voodoo that you do. He did about 3 of our songs, and then he listened to this one and he listened to it and he said, play it back again. And we played it back again in the studio, and he's like, I can't hear anything in this song that needs me. Right. the guitar work on this song is impeccable. It's great. There's nothing I could do to this song except screw it up. And I was impressed with that. And I think I told Woody that Roy Woody Woods, right? 6-string Woody from the South. I can never remember, South Carolina or North Carolina.
Yeah, he's up in North Carolina. Well, wait a minute, hold on. Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Excuse me.
Okay, so the guitar work on this song is Roy Woods, aka 6-string Woody. Did a great job on the guitars, and to have somebody like Kenny Greenberg, who's a professional's professional, tours with Kenny Chesney, has been on Guitar Player magazine, the front cover, to have him hear that and go, rewind that, or let's hear it again. And just watching him smile and go, you know, there's nothing I can add to this. This song's done. Don't, you know, help me screw this song up. That was a really cool moment for me. And it should be for Woody to say, one of the premier guitar players in Nashville say, I can't do it any better. My other Nashville story about this particular song, to be a name dropper, because when you hang out in Nashville, you learn to be a name dropper. It's kind of like a calling card. Like, these are the people I know. These are the people who I'm playing with, or these are the people. And if you can name drop up that ladder high enough, you get doors opened to you. So Kenny Greenberg is a huge name. But I also introduced this song to Jeff Steele, who's also a huge name in Nashville, who's wrote 20 or 30 #1 hits in Nashville, the songs that you hear on the radio all the time. And I introduced this song to him, and he said, I really dig this song, but you need to shorten it, because he's a Nashville guy, right? You need to compress it. This song will never be able to be played on the radio. Well, guess what, Jeff? We got it played on the radio. It had to go to the Virgin Islands, but we proved you wrong. But he's saying, take out all of that good music and just compress it down into a radio format. But he loved it. So
Cool.
We know it's a good song because two of the hugest heavy hitting people that you could name drop in Nashville have given it their boink stamp of approval, which I thought was cool. And then when Captain Bruce, the DJ from the Virgin Islands, heard it, well, we gave him 3 songs. I did. And that's the one he chose. And I just talked to him again like 3 days ago at Duffy's again. Imagine that. And he says, you know what? I remember, he's like, I remember you, and I remember playing the song, and I think I'm going to add it to my rotation.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, yeah, please do. So then we started talking about politics, and it evolved into, politics and alcohol, and it was, but we're still friends. So
that particular song, Alvin, Texas, just has such a drive right out of the gate. I mean, as soon as you hear it in the first 20 seconds, it just grabs you.
Yes.
You like that kind of music, it just sucks you in immediately.
And if you can imagine, and I think what makes songs classic is that we've heard them at least 20 times or 200 times, like Sweet Home Alabama. That song, to me, if it were played on the radio a lot, you would know it immediately.
Right.
Within the first 3 or 4 notes, you'd go, Alvin, Texas. I love this song. Or, I know this song. At least you would know it. It's got such a great signature to it.
Yeah, so the beginning is what brings you in, but in all honesty, it was the lyrics that finished it out.
Yeah.
The story that you created and the story that you wrote for that was actually a good story from beginning to end, and it told it told a story.
Right.
All the way through, and it matched and it made sense, and you could follow along exactly what was happening. It was almost like a narrative. You could almost use it as a narrative for maybe like a short movie.
Right. And it's true, folks. It really happened. Okay. I just want you to know. I mean, this
Yeah, but it ended up in a good spot, and the story I thought was great all the way through. And
Yeah, no, and
that's why I like, the opportunity that we've had to work together, because you have that talent that I don't. I don't have a lyrical mind. Uh, I just don't. And that's why I lean on you for that.
so maybe we can get together and do some filming on how we take a guitar player like Six String Woody, who lives in South Carolina, and get his parts into our music in Oregon, which I think is amazing. Technology is great. We've got keyboard players from Seattle.
Yeah, heard a vocal in Australia, Jenny Dwyer down in Australia,
Yeah,
Dundee in Germany. I mean, just wherever you can. There's no end to it. Anywhere in the world, as long as you can hook up and make it work and send a part back and forth, you can write a song with anybody.
it's amazing. Yeah, you got to love the technology,
I do.
and which is what we've done. I mean, and there's so many different players on our record that it's just amazing.
Cool.
So all right, Carolina Steel, Spotify. What else is it on? YouTube, Amazon,
Yeah,
iTunes.
Stations. I mean, a ton of minor stations.
Yeah, there's like it's on in Zimbabwe. I think one of them. Literally, I'm not kidding. It's like there's a station in Zimbabwe where you can listen to it.